Welcome to Instrument Fundamentals for the Saxophone. Today I'll be using an alto saxophone, but everything I'm telling you will also work for the tenor saxophone as well. So when you get your saxophone, before you open the case, make sure the writing is on the top. If you open it upside down, you will have parts hitting the floor. So go ahead, open your case, make sure the writing's on the top. Once you open it, you'll see that you have two main pieces. Now, what I do when I'm assembling the saxophone, I always take my reed first and soak it in my mouth while I'm assembling the instrument. But because I've got to talk throughout this video, I'm going to set this aside for now and worry about that later. So the first thing I do is I take the neck and I take the mouthpiece and I'm going to assemble them. So we'll twist the mouthpiece onto the neck of the saxophone, take the mouthpiece cover off, and actually the ligature was in there also. You have a metal piece called a ligature that goes over the mouthpiece to hold the reed on. What we want to do is get that mouthpiece twisted on real well. The bottom of the mouthpiece is opposite the side with the key on top. You can see there's the key. So the bottom is opposite that side. The flat side of the mouthpiece is the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and put the reed on at this point. So you're going to take your reed. When I put the reed on, I hold it down below the end of the mouthpiece. So when I go to put on this metal ligature, I don't accidentally slice the reed if it's sticking above, because once you slice it, it's no good. You have to throw it in the trash. So hold it down below the end, slide the ligature over the mouthpiece and the reed carefully. Now there is a big end and a small end of this ligature. Make sure you're sliding on the big end first. Slide it over. Then you can go back and adjust this reed to where it matches up with the ends of the mouthpiece. So I'm just going to line it up to the very end. I'm going to pull that ligature down. If I need to, I can loosen the screws on it. So I got this pulled down. Now you want to have, I like to have it below the cut in the reed. Also, if you turn it around the other side, it's below that crest. It's past the crest in the mouthpiece. And again, just make sure it's lined up. Go ahead and tighten the screws so the reed and the ligature cannot slip off. Now what I do is I take my mouthpiece cap, I slide it over, and I set it aside. Now I'm going to pick up the saxophone out of the case by the bell. I do not want to grab this by the keys. It's a very heavy instrument. If I'm lifting it out of the case all the time by just grabbing the keys, eventually something's going to come out of adjustment over time. It may not happen immediately, but certainly over time something will come out of adjustment. I'm going to take my neck strap, put that neck strap around your neck. Now there's a hook here that's going to go in the eye on the back of the saxophone. Now some saxophone neck straps do not have a latch, it's just a hook. This one has got a latch. We're going to put it right on there, and then we're going to go and put the neck onto the saxophone. Now when you put the neck onto the saxophone, there's a nut right here. Make sure it's loosened. We're going to wiggle that in, and then we're going to tighten it up. And we want to align the neck, the back of the neck, with the back keys here, where the thumb goes. So line it up, tighten the nut so the air can't leak there. Now, what we want to do, we want to adjust that neck strap so the saxophone meets our mouth. when we go to play, we don't want to be bending our head down or lifting it up. Okay, we want that saxophone mouthpiece to come right to the level where our mouth is. And that's the proper adjustment here. Now for hand placement, right hand goes on the bottom. There's a hook back here for the thumb. Thumb's going to go under that hook. Then on the front of the saxophone, there's 3 keys down here, 3 ivories. Index, middle, ring finger go there. This pinky will be reserved for playing those keys down here. Now the left hand's a little bit trickier for the hand placement. And it's actually just like the flute. We're going to skip the first key, put down a finger, skip the 3rd key, put down a finger, and then throw down the next finger. So we have no fingers on the first key and the 3rd key. So the first finger always goes on the 2nd key. 2nd finger always goes on the 4th key, and your 4th finger goes on the 5th key. Very confusing. Think of it this way. Skip a key, finger, skip a key, finger, finger. Okay? The thumb is going to go on this button back here. We're just going to rest it right there on that round button. Sometimes, actually most of the time it's a little black button, but not in this case. So again, left hand on top, skip a key, finger, skip that little key, finger, finger. Right hand, thumb in the hook, fingers go on the 3 ivories, 1, 2, 3, when we're using them. Our fingers always go on those keys, whether we're using them or not. Now, there are alternate fingerings on the saxophone where we may actually put our left hand fingers on a different key. But for our purposes, we really don't use the other keys. And again, make sure the neck strap is adjusted so the mouthpiece meets your mouth. Now, there are 2 ways to play the saxophone. One is right in front of you, hanging down. The other is having it on the right side of your right leg. Now, in that case, you've got to twist the neck to the right and adjust the mouthpiece so it goes in your mouth flat. But again, we want that neck strap pulled up so where we don't have to bend down or move our head upwards, and so it meets our mouth perfectly. Now, that's it for this video. We've covered how to put the mouthpiece on the neck, how to place the reed on the mouthpiece, how to put it together with the main body of the instrument, how to take it out of the case, how to open the case, and where to put our hands and fingers. In the next video, we will discuss how to produce a sound on the saxophone. So tune in to video 2 for producing a sound on the saxophone as well as breathing.